Today on the channel, we're back to Super 7 Ultimates, this time with the G.I. Joe Big Bad Toy Store exclusive, Storm Shadow.
And the spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Welcome everyone, Kyle here, and welcome back to the channel for another Super 7 Ultimate unboxing and review. And today on the channel, we got the Big Bad Toy Store exclusive, Storm Shadow. But for all your Big Bad Toy Store exclusive needs, Big Bad Toy Store. But for everything else under the sun, hit up jaystoysandgames.com. Use discount code Kyle. Save yourself 15%. Gotta get a deal out there. And this one, I'm not sure if it's possible to get a deal on. I gotta be honest, a little bit down on this figure from the jump, from the get-go, as I really don't see the point of this one in a lot of ways. Now, I could be totally wrong here on this, but I do not remember in the G.I. Joe Real American Hero cartoon, and these figures are based off the cartoon, getting this version of Storm Shadow back in the day. Now, maybe he was searching for the Deke way back in the day, but we haven't seen any other figures from the Deke series. It's all been the Real American Hero, the original Sunbow stuff. So this one, a bit of a head scratcher, which really leads me to put my business hat on and say, hey, Super 7 saw a very easy repaint they could do, and I feel that's what they did. However, it's like they repainted it to look like it, but just missed the mark from early impressions. But we're going to dive into it. We're going to do this review like we do all the other reviews on the channel. We're going to take a look at the packaging. We're going to talk about it. We're going to unbox it. We're going to talk about it. We're going to see where it goes from there, and we'll also do some comparisons later on. So let's dive into Storm Shadow. Now, there's no outer box, no slip cover, any of that with this one here. And you got Storm Shadow looking only like a Storm Shadow could look if he looked like the original Storm Shadow repainted. So definitely different on that. And like I said, we'll do some comparisons later on in this video. Big window box there, classic G.I. Joe logo on the front. Storm Shadow, Cobra Ninja. Now, I think of this as good guy Storm Shadow. Now, some people say he was playing both sides, whatever it was, but my playing days when I was a kid, the original Storm Shadow version of this was a good guy on the Joe team. On the side, you got kind of that army ninja camouflage, whatever you want to call it over here. Cobra down here. On the back, a little bit of a blurb. We'll see that. Got the readout, got all that kind of stuff going on. Ages 14 and up. Thank you, Mark Summers. Mark Summers, a great return from the couch. Ready to go, ready to keep these kids in line, as we know. Storm Shadow, Cobra Ninja, primary specialty, assassin. Secondary specialty, intelligence. Birthplace, Classified. Beautiful town. If you've never been to Classified, Nebraska, you're missing out. I'm pretty sure it's Nebraska. If not, fact check it. Storm Shadow can trace his family history through 30 generations of assassins. He can scale sheer walls with bare hands and feet. Yeah, what have you done lately? Move with blinding speed and endure unspeakable hardship and pain. Qualified expert, all martial arts weapons. 8th degree black belt in 5 martial arts. Hopefully he can climb up the ranks in 5 different martial arts. So it does say the great ninja assassin clans disappeared 100 years ago. If they were wiped out, nobody took the credit for it. And if they're still around, who are they working for? Well, they're working for me. That's who they are. And I didn't like to give that nugget of information out, but they do. They actually hunt figures for me now is what they do. How the mighty have fallen, of course. See you later. Put some spin on it. Goodbye. Little plastic prism, a little bow, a little bit of arrows right there. And then, of course, all the weapons, everything else with Storm Shadow here. But I'm going to take this offline, get him out of the package. We'll be back talking all things Storm Shadow version 2, Super 7 Ultimate. All right, some people bring the boom. We're going to bring the Storm Shadow, that is. And we're going to start it with the accessories first. And we're going to go, in a plot twist, we're going to go straight to the bow and arrow. Oh, it's a bow and arrow game here. Black bow, black looking very good here, all in black. Real string, which I do love. Very, very nice bow. And then, of course, you do get 3 arrows. So you got 3 shots on these. Nice orangish reddish color with the silver tips there. I remember as a kid watching like movies and things like that, and you were always scared of those bow and arrows from ninjas, and you were extra scared if they put some like poison on the end. It's like, oh, I got hit with an arrow. Even worse, it's poison inside. Oh, it was very scary walking to school as a kid. You were like, I hope there's no ninjas out there with their bows getting ready to shoot me. But luckily for me, I never had that instance out there. However, one instance I did have is with throwing stars. So you get 3 throwing stars here. Now, as a kid, I've told this story before as well. There was like a gas station slash arcade slash jack of all trades on my way to school. Of course, before and after, you'd swing in sometimes, play some video games, do some things. But they had a little case there, and they sold throwing stars as a kid. However, they called them Chinese throwing stars because they were probably from China. Who knows why? But I remember a couple of kids in the neighborhood got them some twin brothers, and we would throw them against the trees and stuff like that. But one day things went south between the 2 brothers, and they started whipping at each other, and one of them got drilled with it pretty good. It was the end of a play day, that's for sure. But it was a wild time. Whenever I see throwing stars, I always think of that day. Throwing those against the trees, then the brothers turning on each other, and it getting ugly. Getting real ugly there. Love to watch it, though. I love to be a spectator to see those 2 brothers go at it. So it was a good day for me. Bad day for them, and I'm pretty sure their throwing stars got taken away forever, if I'm not mistaken. Now, we do get a crazy knife here. Now, I hope this knife is supposed to be like this. If not, it's warped, but it's a kind of a weird jagged curl to it. We've seen some of those ninja knives before. I feel like the original G.I. Joe Storm Shadow had one of those ones. We've also seen it with like the Night Creeper, for instance, there, but it's got a kind of craziness to it, so when it stabs you, it gets in there all good. Maybe that's what's going on with that one there. Then we got 2 traditional katanas that would make one Leonardo blush, I think, at the end of the day. But we do get 2 blades here, 2 different sized blades as well. Not too bad there, but of course, Storm Shadow, that's what we think of. Got the orangish, reddish color handles on that. Then we got some straight up nunchucks ready to go, like a young Michelangelo, bringing it back to the Turtles once again. Absolutely love that they give us the real chain in between. That's always very nice. Once again, same color handle throughout, looking very good. And that's our ninja accessories. That's what we get for one Storm Shadow. Now we get some extra hands here. We got 2 fists of Storm Shadow Fury right out of the package. He's ready to cut loose with some fists. But if things go south, he can always give the old hi-ya, the dreaded hi-ya. Watch out for it. He's got the hi-ya hands right here. We do got kind of the throwing star hands here, also pointing hands. We got those going on. We do got 2 traditional gripping hands. Once again, he's got the little kind of grip like that, so I guess you put the throwing star in there if you need to. And then we got other gripping hands here. So really choose your own hand adventure here. Very interesting. All these extra hands, we usually get that from Super 7, so it is on brand from Super 7 and their Ultimates. But now we got to dive into Storm Shadow himself and find out, dare I say, what all the fuss is about. Now, I don't know. This is where things go south for me here. Now, this feels like, looks like the original Storm Shadow from Super 7 Ultimates. And I guess, you know what? I'm going to pull that out right now, and I'm going to stick that right there. So there he is here. This is Storm Shadow. I would say you ask 99% of the world, what's Storm Shadow look like? This is what they think of, the cartoon edition of Storm Shadow. Now, this is, of course, later version here, but that later version is really usually more thought of closer to this one with the big hood over the top. Now, this is the latest, greatest Hasbro G.I. Joe Classified version, kind of based on the same thing as what they are. However, they went the extra detail on this one, where this one here, they just did a very simple repaint. And when I say simple repaint, very simple. You got plain white over here for the most part. You got a little bit of guard on the arms here, and then you got the camouflage, the ninja camouflage, and that's really all that's different. Obviously, the weapons painted a little different color, things like that, but for the most part, a very, very easy repaint right here, and it just feels like it was too easy. Give us a hood, give us something to make it feel a little bit more different. That's what they did from Hasbro. Super 7 should have done the same thing in Big Bad Toy Store as well. As you're paying $55 for these, where you got about $25 for these. They made them different. How come we couldn't have got this one a little bit different? So really a little bit letting the air out of the tires on this one for me, as it feels forced and it feels like a very easy, like they took the easy way out, for instance, there. But it is, I understand what it's trying to represent. It is what it is. It is Storm Shadow in camouflage, and we're going to dive through it right here. Got those crazy ninja eyes right there. Very focused eyes on him. You got the hood over the top, but not the full-on hood like we want with this one. You got the bandolier over the top holding everything down. Of course, you can put the 2 katana blades back here, the arrows in here as well, so it's always nice to be able to store stuff on the figure. Also got some of those throwing stars in here. They're not removable. They're in his belt. Of course, have that over here as well. 2 Fist of Furies I did mention. Now, some difference here is you got the forearm guards over here. He's got his forearms all protected where they're a little bit more bare on this side, showing off the tattoo, of course. And then you got the full-on white ninja jumpsuit. Maybe it's his sleeping attire. Maybe it's his sneaking around attire. I'm not exactly sure. Got those ninja slippers on right there. Make you extra quiet with those ninja slippers, of course. Articulation, arm, of course, single-jointed, elbow, side to side. Hands removable back and forth, side to side. Bicep cut, arms all the way around for us, of course, there. Shoulders back and forth. Head back and forth, side to side. Ab crunch, pretty much non-existent on this one. It doesn't really move a whole lot. Splits, ninja splits right there. Of course, ninjas, you got to be flexible. You got to be. Leg does go up, single jointed knee, side to side, nothing really. Boot cut, ankles back, forth, side to side, up and down. Pretty much our usual G.I. Joe Super 7 Ultimate articulation at this point. And going to be very interesting where this line goes in the future. Where is this line going to go? How deep are we going to go with this line? I would love to know, as it's been pretty quiet. San Diego Comic-Con was very quiet. Are we done with this Joe line? And unfortunately for me, or fortunately, I guess, depending who you are, but for me, I have always wanted a toy line based on the original G.I. Joe cartoon series, and that's what we're getting with these. I really enjoyed these. There's been hiccups like any line, but it does feel like it's been fairly quiet, and I don't know where we're going to go. We got this Cobra Immortal that we got at San Diego Comic-Con. What is it? Red Laser coming from Walmart Con or whatever. So some ones that don't make a lot of sense in the cartoon series. So I don't know where this line's going, if it's a free-for-all at this point, and it seems to be the case with some of those deep-cut exclusives and the Storm Shadow. I was hoping we were going original G.I. Joe series and moving from there. At this point, it doesn't seem like that is going to be the case. So up in the air where this line goes. I'm rooting for it, but this one, out of all the ones we've got so far, probably my least favorite. So it'll be interesting. I mean, even, I guess, I should walk it a little bit back, because early on we got the Cobra Bat comic edition, so I guess we're getting comic edition. They're mixing and matching, so I guess they really have been all over the place since the get-go. I guess, personally, I would like them to stick to the cartoon looks as what they've done the majority of the figures on, and I hope they continue to do in the future. So we'll see. We'll see where it goes, but Storm Shadow version 2, probably a good idea as a store exclusive. I don't think this appeals to everyone out there. It's more of a completist, deep-cut fan, Storm Shadow fan maybe as well. That's kind of where it does sit for me. But where does it sit for you? Be interested to hear your thoughts on this one in the comments down below. And of course, if you made it this far, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to this YouTube channel and my other YouTube channel. What are we doing right here? We got videos every single day, and of course those videos all go over to the Patreon. Check out my Patreon channel for even more stuff going on. ProWrestlingTees.com, search Kyle Peterson, SirPaul64 on the X, the _Kyle_Peterson on Threads, and on Instagram, and now newly on TikTok. So check out all my ninja moves over there on the old TikTok. So for Storm Shadow version 2, I'm Kyle. See you guys all real soon.